Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Haraami United. You know it's going to be Haraami. We've got our good old friend Harry on. Harry, is it? Or is it? Yeah, Harry. We got him on today. Special appearance. Harry, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. How you boys been? Long time.
Too long, I think.
It's like he's back from the dead.
Well,
Been a little bit under the weather, but I'm back. I'm firing on all cylinders.
yeah, I think he's sharpened up today. Yeah, we've obviously got the main stalwarts, Afsar and Akil here as well. Boys, as always, man, let's just dive straight in. What's been happening these last couple
I
of
think
days?
I think let
Do you
Ted
not
start
remember the
off because I
weekend?
think some people might have missed him. Ted, do you want to go first?
Do I want to go? Do I want to go? Not particularly. I think it's been it was a horrible week, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes, sir. We
literally,
have not. We've not. Obviously, I know the boys done a bit of a post analysis of the Newcastle game. Ted, I'm getting your name wrong now. Harry, do you want to talk about it or not?
yeah, no. I think let's start with Galatasaray. I think,
Galatasaray, bloody.
yeah,
That
Flipping
far
because
back.
hell,
obviously
we're going
That's
back. We're
two
really
games.
going
Oh,
through
you're
it today.
going that far back.
well,
Jolo ठीक है like do I
it's started off with a really bad week, but I don't
तू
know how
अपना
you
मन
boys
हौला
feel.
कर चल तू हौला हो चल
Absolutely. I
चल
don't know
ले
how
चल
you boys feel, but I felt like even though we were winning, and you know what, it's the same sort of thing where the first 25 minutes it feels incredible, but I just feel like that massive hole in the middle, which is affecting us, it just keeps coming back to bite us now. And the way we capitulated against them was embarrassing against Galatasaray. We should have won that game. Game should have been dead finished, only then to go to Newcastle, where I don't think any sort of United fan believed that we were going to go there, dominate, and win. I think every fan deep down probably thought, oh, we might sneak a win, we might get a pen, we might get a 1-0, might come out unscathed. But we went into a game against Newcastle, who, let me just remind you, 2 years ago were facing relegation, who literally have had like two, maybe three transfer windows, have had a new manager, and have absolutely turned it around,
new
only to
owners.
watch the new owners as well. Let's not talk about that. But I mean, with those new owners, let's just talk about the general those players who are there. If you watch Newcastle the way they're playing, you got
Ted. I really apologize. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like to cut you up. I always value what you've got to say. How how are you separating the owners to the players? Bearing in mind,
because
one of the players who's been there from pre-Saudi and post-Saudi. So what did he say? What was his
It's not even what he
words?
said. He did say that obviously the mood around the camp changed and things like that, but it was the fact that Fabian Schär got relegated with Newcastle. The
hmm,
Longstaffs got relegated. They have players in that team. Sorry, that, like I said, got relegated to the Championship.
hmm.
So
I
it's
think my only point is, right. Look, we could talk about it and deep dive into ownership and all that. I'm not disputing that, but you know what I fundamentally noticed about Newcastle. Even I watched them against PSG, and yeah, even though they drew that game, I think they're really unlucky with that penalty as well. All 11 of those all 10 outfield players, including the goal and not including the goalkeeper, were literally, they were told to do a job and they were told to stick to a shape. This United team can't stick to a shape. They can't hold their position, and I feel a little bit for Bruno because he's getting so much stick, so
edge.
much stick.
That's because 50% of them don't like Eric Ten Hag.
Well, that's what we've been
So
made to
why are they going
believe.
to work for him?
But that's what we're made to believe. But I don't buy into that. I think what I've heard today with the press conference and what's going on with players, I think some players really know that, hang on a minute, they are being fully exposed. I think I
You know
think I
what?
think
Sorry, just to interrupt you there, because I personally didn't see. Can someone give me just a bit of a gist of what happened in the press conference? Because I know, I mean, we will go into it, but I know some of the press boys, some of the journalists have been banned from coming. But what, and I'll go on to the list who that is. But what happened? I didn't listen to the press conference itself. Hansari Japoge.
So I watched like 5 minutes of it. I turned it on, and the first question that came on was obviously, let me just bring it up. The transcript. It was basically asking him. Ten Hag. I'm not too sure who it was. Ten Hag was basically asked. 1 second. Sorry, boys.
Hang on, I've got it.
Go on.
I don't. So he was asked about obviously the ban, and because obviously the whole thing about the ban was they were publishing these stories. You know, essentially they were stirring shit, and they weren't telling the club. They weren't, you know, like sometimes I believe agents get phone calls and they're like, oh yeah, this piece about client X is going in the news tomorrow, and then agents go and find a way to spin it, right? So Ten Hag's comments on that were they should have come to us first and not go behind our back printing articles. That is not the right thing. We have a good relationship. They should come to us beforehand and we can have a debate about it. That's in reference to the situation in the press.
Yeah, and that's the only part that I watched. After that, I turned it off.
Yeah, so I think just going through the names. So the people who've been banned, well, from today's press conference were sports chief reporter Kaveh Salaho, the Manchester Evening News' Samuel Luckhurst, about time, the Mirror's David McDonnell, and Rob Dawson from ESPN. Now, I know yourself, Harry, you're not really into this, so I'll leave you out. But Afsar, Aki, are you surprised with those names? Any names on there that you think, I wonder why that was?
Isn't
Well, you can
Cavill the
answer if
Sky
you want.
Sports guy?
Yeah.
Isn't Cavill? Yeah, the Cavill. You don't know what to believe, though. I mean, I'm going to be really like, you might think, oh, Harry's not in the loop. He doesn't know what he's on about. To me, it sounds as if shit's getting a bit real for certain players. Shit's getting a bit real for the manager. And again, it's just something to quickly come out and deflect a little bit. But I still don't. Yeah, I genuinely do. I wouldn't read too much. I wouldn't be surprised.
So when Fergie done it, why?
There's a difference. There's a difference. Ferguson.
What's the
Ferguson. They
No,
one
no.
set. They
Yeah.
disrespected Ferguson's family. They disrespected Ferguson's sons. Right. So that's why he come out and banned.
That was the
That's why he
BBC.
refused BBC
That was
ones.
the
Yeah.
BBC.
Yeah.
No, he did ban other journalists as well, not just the BBC.
Yeah. Well,
He kept the feud with the BBC for longer.
but he followed. But one of his feuds carried on from a Champions League early exit, weren't it? If you remember, I think it may have been the Real Madrid game. You know when Nani got sent off, the high foot.
Okay,
Come
I'm
on,
not
boys.
sure
But
about that
Ted,
one.
what it is though, but what it is, Ted, if someone were behind your back, are you not going to ban them
Yeah.
to come from the press? If you were Ten Hag, Ten Hag and the media were behind your back and started putting stories out and stuff, just for clicks and stuff like that, are you not going to ban them?
I would be. Fair play. If he wants to do that, that's up to him. But if I'm Eric Ten Hag now, and regardless of what is going on all around us with the ownership, and I understand how much of a hard job he's got, I would be focusing on getting 11 players on the pitch who actually do the bare minimum of working. And at the moment, he hasn't got them 11 players. He's not making the right selections. Now, and it's just not going well for him. And you know what? He's been exposed in a few games. Now, 3 weeks ago, when I jumped on this podcast, you boys said to me, Ted, are you feeling all right about Ten Hag? You seem positive. You seem the thing. I'll go, yeah, because he was making right calls with certain players. Yeah. Since them 2 bad leads that we've dropped off with Copenhagen, Galatasaray, he has made some really bad substitutions, some bad judgment calls. And again, now he's put himself back under a load of pressure. And I just don't understand why he doesn't stick to players in this present moment who work for the team. And that's what I'm just baffled with. And I think it will probably happen again tomorrow.
Did you not listen to his press conference? Did you not listen to his press conference? When he's talking about the players being tired? Because don't forget, you talked about Amrabat. You shouldn't have took him off in the messages, and then in the same breath he said, "But he looks out of it. He doesn't look fit."
But why is a player of Amrabat, who's been at the club now for several months, what background staff, what individual person what nutritional scientist is looking at this player who's apparently 5 kg overweight? Why even now is he not fit? Tell me why that is.
Can I ask a question?
One second, let me just answer that, Afsar. Isn't that the responsibility of the player as well?
Well,
look at City, Matheus Nunes, what's his name, and Calvin Phillips. This is meant to be one of the best managers in the world ever, and the best. Well, we can say they're the best club at the moment in time. what are they doing? What's happening to them? Why are those same questions not being asked of Pep then?
But I think there's a bit of a difference, right? They've got set standards where, like, players like Calvin Phillips and that, and they're not playing. It's very easy to fall into a little bit of a rut and thinking, well, you know what? I'm probably not going to play for 3-4 games. I'm only going to probably play 10. I'm not condoning their behaviour or them putting on weight. But I'm saying for United, there is no standards at the moment. That
Well,
comes
there you
from the
go,
manager.
and that's exactly.
1 minute.
So he's trying to set those standards, and if
But
the likes of
so why is he not doing it? So why is it not happening? Because he is not. Yeah,
exactly. So that's not, you can't just say that's on Erik ten Hag, because like you said, they've got standards at Pep's got standards, so they're going to go there. But so is Erik ten Hag. If you look at his Ajax team, even if you look at last year, the way they were running and things like that after the first 2 defeats, they were the high ones. So it's not like the case of all of a sudden they just dropped. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, some things are happening. Sorry, Afsal. I know you had a question.
My question was, where's this whole 5 kg overweight thing come from? Because I've not seen this.
So if you follow some of these nutritional scientists on Instagram, I'll tag you in them. I'm not sure if you're on the gram. I'm not sure what social media
I don't do Instagram.
you are.
I do Twitter. I just about do Twitter.
Let me get the articles. I'll send them to you a little bit later on if I get a chance. Yeah.
Just basically just drop it in the Brown Monday group,
drop it in the Brown Monday. But apparently, like a lot of these players, you know, they're on these big wages and all this, like, you know, what they can afford. They've got private chefs and stuff. So, you know what I mean? None of these players should be unfit. And I think personally with Ten Hag now, all the stuff that's come out with the press conference, yeah, good, ban media people, whatever you want to do. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that, you know what, you're making some wrong selections with players. And you know what, you've got your tactics wrong last 2-3 games, big time. And I wouldn't be surprised.
I agree with all of that, but I'm going to piggyback on what Harp said. The fitness, the dietary requirements, the whole weight thing, that is also the responsibility of the individual. Like,
I agree.
Erik ten Hag can't lose 5 kg for him. He's got to do it himself. He's got to get himself into shape.
So why is it Ten Hag can set why is it Ten Hag can set a stand and say Sancho's attitude stinks, he will not play, but some players it's up to them to get fit. If they're not fit, they will play, even though, you know, it's not my responsibility to look after them. But there's a double standard.
What Sancho did was completely different.
Yeah. No, but I'm putting in the same line of breath, right? What you're saying.
You can't put in the same line of breath because you've got one guy actually disrespecting the manager in public.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't see the difference between that.
No.
And let's not forget, Tej, this so-called 5 kg overweight is from Instagram. These people that I've never heard of, and boys you've never heard of.
You follow. Mate, you can just tell the way the players.
So now you can just tell.
No, you can listen. If you understand, most of these players should be averaging between 65 to 75 kg. Yeah, that's sort of like the baseline of an average professional football player in the Premier League.
Have got their scales and
forget Instagram people. Let's look at the top nutritional scientists in the world. You can research them yourself.
I'm just saying, how do they know from that Amrabat's not fit?
I'll pull that information to you. But what I'm trying to get to the point is, you just said you can't put them in the same breath between Sancho and Amrabat. You just said it's the player's responsibility. It's Sancho's responsibility to sort his attitude out. It's Amrabat's responsibility. He's been at the club for several months to get himself match fit. If that means he needs to go above and beyond to get a private flipping PT, get himself private chef, a nutritionist, all that things, it's up to him. He's unfit. I don't know if he's been at the kebabs. I don't know. I don't know if he's been following my diet for the last couple of months. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, Erik ten Hag still has a choice to select him, and he keeps selecting him and selecting him in certain games where, you know what, it's just not good enough. I would rather play somebody who is fit for the full 90 minutes. And that's me being honest with you.
It's genetics with Amrabat?
No. Yeah, so, I mean, Tej, let me just ask you.
It could be a number of things.
What do players always say? What sets them up for the season?
To have
a good season. What pre-season? 100%, yeah. Amrabat's pre-season, what was it?
It wasn't great. We weren't with us, was it?
He was training
alone. It was almost non-existent. I think. Yeah, he was training on his own. So, Erik ten Hag obviously identified him and wanted him. Yeah.
Well,
when did we get him?
We've been told. We got him late in the season, first game in.
Yeah, so he hadn't had a pre-season, basically, and obviously
we signed him.
What was it? Deadline day, wasn't it?
Or a couple of days, or like the day before, or something.
Yeah. So you tell me, Erik ten Hag, when would he have wanted? Erik ten Hag, when do you think he would have wanted Amrabat? Do you think he would have waited till the last day of the deadline? Or would you want
Listen,
him sooner?
I'm not disputing that. I'm saying to you now, it's
a simple question. I'm asking you, when do you think you would have wanted him?
Oh, of course, before the start of pre-season or during pre-season,
or at least during some pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what that shows you is, again, the people above and their inept work. Would you not agree? Yeah. So they should have got him a lot earlier. It's obviously Eddie Ten Hag can't go and agree those fees and do all the contract talks and all that kind of things. He wants them in ASAP. Yeah. So again, it's not happened. Okay, for whatever reason. Okay, so now again, you've got a player like you just said, Amrabat, who's probably isn't fit. Let's just say he isn't fit because he might not look fit. I don't know his weight and all that business. I'll ask the Instagram boys. But so there's another player, extra player, he has to now deal with and almost manage. And he's got all the other things to do. So when I come back to say, and you talk about the owners and all this business, it's a domino effect. It's now something else that he has to deal with that he really doesn't have to deal with. Okay. So this is, like I said, you've watched the Newcastle documentary when they talk about percentages and gains and things like that. So percentage gains also works the other way. Percentage takeaway. Do you know what I mean? These little bits that you got to keep on doing takes focus off the things, like you rightly just said, he should be doing is worrying about the team. And he's not getting out, having to do that because of all the other stuff that goes around him. But okay, obviously, Ted is saying that the journalists being banned is just deflecting away from him. Afsal, Akil, what's your views on that?
I'll let Aki go first.
I mean, for me, I think he's done right. I think he needs to get rid of them for the rest of the season, probably 3 months or whatever.
This the journalist you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah. So I think, I'm not too sure if it's the journalist or the publication and stuff, but I think if you get rid of them for a few games and stuff, I think that teaches them a lesson. I know for a fact, the moment Qatar come in, they will literally be gone. Like, I'm not saying they'll be allowed to come in and obviously ask questions or whatever, and like one of those, but there'll be no leaks at all. So on that note, I'm not even fussed. But I think for now, like Ted said, he's got more important things to focus on, which is the game itself. But if you put all the journalists and the public, the media on the back burner for a few games and stuff, I think that would basically put some pressure off him as well. But I think he's done good. He's done good. The press conference did go well from what I heard, from what I read on the transcript from the website. But I think he just needs to start winning games. He needs to do something on the pitch as well.
I disagree with you there. I don't think it is just winning games there, Keeler, because I think the reality is, I mean, if you boys listen to Carragher and you listen to...
you know what it is, Ted? For now, the reason why I said that, that is, I know for a fact we've got no style play. We've got nothing. But I'm happy with a 1-0 win.
I promise you, you're a local, you're a northern lad as well, yeah. So you're probably a bit more mean to you. You speak to any of the local fans, any fans who tell you now, at this present moment in time, they know certain players are not good enough. But I'm telling you now, most people and most fans, even who are listening to this, would say, you know what, rather than play younger kids, rather than playing people who work. And I'm telling you, I'm at that point where he needs to do it. He has to start dropping
Ted,
players.
You will be the first. You'll be the first one to rip him apart.
Regardless what happens. Regardless of what happens, I'm happy with the 1-0 win. Even if Chelsea, tomorrow's game, Chelsea have 95% possession, more shots on goal and everything, I'm happy with United winning 1-0.
But the thing is, Chelsea are not Chelsea's. It is literally a game of, look, we don't even know because we're two teams so unpredictable. But one team is literally trying to find a style, trying to find their feet. They're going to go through the ups and downs. But you know what? Same with us as well. We are just literally. Gary Neville summed it up perfectly in a way which is great. He goes, apart from Louis van Gaal, none of the teams, none of the managers have been able to implement a style. And all there is a little bit of counterattack. They dominate the lesser teams. So it looks as if, actually, there's a bit of patterns of play, and that's it. But the reality
Okay, let me
is,
jump
at
in.
the moment,
Let me jump in.
Yep. Yep.
You just said apart from Louis van Gaal, no manager's been able to implement a style. David Moyes wasn't given the time of day. Louis van Gaal was in the middle of implementing a style and they sacked him.
That's what I said. Louis van Gaal was the only one.
Yeah.
Louis van
Jose
Gaal was the only
Mourinho was
one.
trying to build something.
Yeah, I agree.
And they failed to back him.
I agree.
Ollie
100% agree with you on
Solskjaer
Jose. Ample time.
The Ollie ball and tactics and vibes and whatever people were calling it. So in essence, he did have a style. It was fast paced. It was counter attacking before the wheels fell off. So
I don't think. I think Ollie was never the right appointment. But do you see how we can go down, and we see how in this conversation we can go down different rabbit holes, right? Let's just go back to the original point, right? We were talking about Akil made a statement saying, we just need to get wins under the belt. I'm saying I disagree with that element statement. Yes, results business and all that. But I think right now, a lot of fans, a lot of people will be like, you know what, it'd just be nice to go there, seeing a team who are a bit organised. Like, for example, did you watch that Arsenal game? We lost. What's that? That Arsenal game, we lost 2-1, yeah? We lost 2-1. Did you watch the way we played? There was a style, there was an identity. We lost that game, but you could see what he was trying to do. And I get it. You know, you're going to lose some games, but against other teams at home, play players who are organised. It doesn't look like every time, for example, Wolves or Luton, as soon as they have one attack, it looks like they can slice through us like a knife through butter. It's absolutely embarrassing. That's what I'm trying to say. That falls a little bit on the manager and the selection of players.
Ted, so go on, Aki, Aki.
So so you've got two options, yeah? Either number one, you take 3 points, regardless, 1-0 win or whatever, scrape it out. Or the other one is you lose, but you are working towards the style of play. Which one are you going for?
Right this minute, but I think that even if we win and scraping wins, it doesn't have any sort of benefit to us. Let's say we do get top 4. We're not going to win. Most people are of an agreement that we're not going to win. Even if we did qualify for Champions League on this last game on the 12th of December against Bayern, we ain't going to get past the quarters or the semis. Let's be honest. We ain't got a team that can go on to win this competition. I know lesser teams have probably, I don't even think lesser teams have won it, but it'd be very, very unlikely, yeah?
Jose's Porto.
They were a much better team than us. I'm telling you that for a fact. They were organised.
No, you know what, Ted?
They'd wipe the floor with us.
What I'm saying is, in Champions League, I know we're out. FA Cup, I wouldn't even focus on it. But the Premier League, just scrape wins. Try to get 3 points as much as you can. That's what I'm saying. Forget your style of play or anything like that. As long as you can get a win, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we've got to get. How can you put it? It's obviously, yes, you've got to start winning, which we was obviously doing last year, and you could see there was a style of play, and like you said, even the Arsenal game there was a style of play, yeah. But yes, you got to win, but you have got to imprint your stamp on it as such. Ten Hag has to. But let me just look at the game against Newcastle.
While you do that, can I just say something?
I'm already there, mate. Go on. I'm already
there.
All
I was going to say is obviously I agree with what Aki said. I'd rather have the wins. I'm just going to mention one thing. Ted said play the youngsters, play kids who run and fight. Now, football fans are fickle. Football fans will turn on you in a heartbeat. So if you're saying go and put 11, 16, 17-year-olds on against Chelsea in front of 74,000 or whatever capacity it is, they will get destroyed. So that's all that talent, they're going to have to mentally recover from that. Because these fans, you, me, everyone included, will not let them forget. And that's just another hurdle in the shit show that we're currently in.
I agree, but I'm not the manager. All I'm saying to you is I think you've taken that too literal in terms of what I'm trying to say. There's certain players, when they're not playing well, and certain players who just aren't running, haven't got the work ethic. I look at Palestri. Did you watch him come on against Galatasaray? And he missed 3 chances. The amount of people giving him a stick. I thought, this young lad, he's so hungry.
But that's what I'm saying. That young lad got loads of shit like that for trying hard.
But what I'm saying is, I also see, hang on a minute, imagine this lad actually started. He would have added way more value than Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial doesn't add any value to our team or our club, yeah? Realistically, if Sancho's gone and out of the question, so should Martial. Did you see the way he was shrugging his shoulders at Ten Hag against Newcastle? It was embarrassing.
Well, Ted, we don't know what the repercussions of that is, but let me, like I was saying, I've got the team here, the starting lineup. So we had in goal Onana. Yep. Right back, Wan-Bissaka.
Yep.
Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw.
Yep.
McTominay, Kobe Mainoo in the middle. And then right wing was Marcus Rashford. Middle, number 10, Bruno Fernandes. On the left, Garnacho. And up top, Martial. Out of all them players, excuse me, how many of his?
We like to go back to this point, don't we, Harpo? Sounds like
What
a
do you mean?
fundamental thing.
But it's a valid point.
Yeah,
I'm asking you the question. Which one out of all those 11 starting lineup I just mentioned?
Half that
Yeah.
lineup was a Newcastle lineup. Newcastle.
Yeah, the
was
Newcastle
One
one, yeah,
Bissaka, Maguire, Shaw, and Dalot, not Lindelof.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even so, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't his selections.
They're not his players, but other than Onana. Okay.
Yeah.
And we know already Lindelof and Maguire he doesn't rate. And he wanted to get rid of Maguire, wanted to bring Kim Min-jae, Todibo, even the other, was it the Bayern Munich guy? Who's gone to Inter Milan now. No, the one who's gone to Inter Milan.
Pavard.
Okay.
Yes.
He wanted them. Obviously, even in the middle, McTominay was looking to go. I can't remember exactly the player he was going to bring up there. But Tej, again, Martial, you're absolutely right. He shouldn't be here. Do you know what I mean? He should not be here. And we all know that Erik ten Hag wanted Harry Kane. Yes, he wanted Rasmus Højlund as well, but he wanted Harry Kane. Like you said in one of the previous podcasts, Richard Arnold, whether he was joking about it or whatever, we all know he was on the target list. I think even Harry Kane himself would have wanted to have come. He never got him. Now, like Afzal said earlier, you can start these young players and you're going to get them, like you said, you heard people ripping into Palestri. Yeah. How long do you think a player like him, a young player who's not used to it, gets ripped up, gets battered by the fans, will it take for him to go?
There has to be an element of balance here. I agree with you, because you can destroy a lot of these comments. So my only simple point to that would have been, like, for example, a Newcastle game, right? Straight away in that Newcastle game, we are going to get outrun. We're in for a physical fight. You know what? He could have played so many different formations. He could have altered it. And I thought to myself, is it clever that he's played short centre off? I can't really tell. I'm trying to work it out with it. Then I'm thinking, what on earth? Varane is sat on the bench now. Yeah, he came on last 5-10 minutes? I think he came on. That made no sense to me whatsoever, and I don't actually understand why that was. Yeah, regardless, we need a player like him. He would have kept things up. He could have even said, you know what, Martial Højlund, whoever is not playing, play a 4-5-1. I remember traditionally Ferguson would go to the Etihad. He'd play 4-5-1. He'd pack the midfield. And what I'm saying is, Erik ten Hag needs to do something in the middle of midfield at the moment, because at the moment it's so bad the way we keep getting exposed, especially in transitions of play. And it's literally like this. Remember, I'll give an example. I don't know if you boys can relate to this. You play for your Indian 11-a-side team growing up as a kid. It weren't no tactics, weren't no style. It'd be like, long ball, and you'd run to it. It'd be 11 Asian lads chasing the ball and so forth. There was no real style or identity. Look,
I know exactly what he's on about.
This is what I'm saying. It's like pub football to a certain degree. And I'm just trying to get to my head. I'm thinking this is Man United, and Harper, I don't dispute it. It's the ownership. It's top down. It is all that. But I'm saying right this minute, Akil made a statement saying we need to grind out results. I'm thinking, you know what? For the time being, it would just be nice to see certain players work harder. Like, for example, I've been battered by everybody in this podcast, everybody on previous podcasts about my treatment of Marcus Rashford. I've even stopped talking about it now because I just think everyone knows the truth about Marcus Rashford. Something's going on, and he might be demoralised. He might be low confidence. But like Jamie Carragher said, asking him to work. There's so many times he give up working, and you can't excuse that. That's all my point is. And a lot of players are following suit. That's my argument.
Well, there you go. This is what I'm trying to say. So, it's got to be something, like I said, if it was just Erik ten Hag it was happening to, fair enough. Erik ten Hag, Ralph Rangnick, Jose Mourinho. I won't say LVG, because they did work. They just weren't obviously good enough. David Moyes. Bearing in mind, David Moyes, as I said, took over a championship winning team that won by 12, 13 points. And they finished 7th.
That's a bit of a that's a little bit of a cheeky statement. That is, Harper. It's true,
Yeah,
but it's cheeky.
You're
You're a very intelligent man, so I've been told that you know, and I know that Ferguson team was on its last legs.
Okay,
I agree.
What happened there then?
I agree with you.
Come
So
on,
what
Harps.
happened there
Come on,
then?
Harps.
No,
Harps,
okay.
Harps.
I'm just waiting
Yeah.
for somebody to explain to me then. Why did the championship winning team, if we keep talking about players, yeah, we keep talking about the players that you lot have, like Aki does. You know, he won't blame the Glazers too. Yes, he will, but he'll say it's the players. Okay, I get that. Why did that championship winning team by 12, 13 points finish 7th?
2 reasons. Other teams around them strengthened, and we never replenished and stocked up. That's it. That is the simple reason behind it. We had players on their last leggings. I think RVP. That was literally the story of it, right? That was going to be his.
Got some more leggings then, man. Got some Christmas ones?
I think the writing was on the wall.
Was it the leggings or the legs that had gone? I don't know which one it was. You said leggings.
Ferguson knew he signed Van Persie.
Yeah, he said
would win the league. Yeah, but look, Harper. Look, I get it. Going back to the key argument, nothing's going to change really until it changes from the top, right? So you know what? It is what it is. I'm hoping.
So when you say that, this is the bit I don't get. This is literally the bit I do not get, and Aki's laughing as well because he knows what's coming here as well. I just like I always said, the boiler has stopped working. It's not giving any hot water, but the tap needs replacing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how? So how are you still having these? Like we all said, Afsal said numerous times, they might not be good enough, the players, but we don't know. Like we just said, Sean Longstaff got relegated. What's his name? Fabian Shaw got relegated as well, and I think Jamal Lascelles was there as well. Got relegated.
A few
part of the captain got relegated. So again, forget us fans, forget Manchester United fans, forget any expert on Manchester United. We've got players on Newcastle who've gone through this process. Like we said 2 years ago, Ted, you just said it, they were rubbish. Now all of a sudden they're top 4 contenders, doing well in the Champions League potentially as well. Ownership there, yeah. You've got after the Man City game, you had Pep Guardiola talk about needs the owners, the chairman, the director of football, the manager to be all in sync for it to work. Do you know what I mean? And then finally, you've also got fans, Liverpool fans, last year coming with Joe Glazer masks to us, but none of the rest of us can see that. But we just want to talk about the players. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, yeah, the players might not be good enough, but for me, and I think this is my biggest gripe with all this, that people like yourself talk about the players, is we're giving the Glazers a get out jail card. We're saying the manager's not good enough. We're saying the players not good enough. We're giving them a get out jail card.
What it is, Harps, it's not that what it is. I think the ultimate thing is the Glazers. I think everyone knows that. I think everyone, literally even not United fan, non-Manchester United fans even know the Glazers are the main problem. Basically, the structure.
They love it. They want to stay.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is for 2 hours on the pitch. Now, for example, Onana making a mistake. Yeah, is that the Glazers' fault or is it Onana's fault?
Yeah, I'm going to say, if you keep asking that same question, I'm going to say yes. You've watched the Newcastle documentary again. You've watched the Arsenal one. You've watched the Man City. What happens? It's all percentage gains. We talk about the new owners, the new investors, who's going to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Teflon Dave is going to come in, and they talk about percentage gains. Yeah. There's a reason why they talk about percentage gains. If it was so black and white, yeah, every single team would be doing it if it was so black and white, but it's not. There's things got to go on behind the scenes that add up to this percentage gains to get to where we're at.
Can I just jump in on that?
That's where players get to where they're at. Go on, sorry, officer.
We signed whatever his name was from Arsenal, the doctor that apparently played an integral role in obviously basically
Gary O'Driscoll.
Yeah, Gary O'Driscoll. he was obviously quite integral to that Arsenal side under Arteta. So we thought, he'll bring that same energy, that same knowledge to Manchester United. Look at our injury list. For about 6 months, we didn't know what was wrong with Malacia. So is that Gary O'Driscoll's fault now, or
but it's the Glazers' fault, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah,
yeah,
that is.
But the thing is, I think the
you gotta
ultimate, no, what it is, the ultimate thing is the Glazers. Everyone knows it. This is what I'm saying. But you have to put the Glazers on the shelf for 2 hours and let the
You can't put the
players
Glazers on the shelf for 2 hours. They've been here 18 years.
Why can't you?
Okay.
Why can't
Like
you?
I said, they've been here 18. The reason why you can't is because we're giving them the get out jail card. Fans who keep talking about the manager again and again, and the players again and again, we're just saying, oh, it's the players. Oh, we need a new manager. Something might happen. If at least unite about something, at least don't give any other excuses. And this is what my biggest gripe is, as I said. We like, okay, I'll say the same thing. I know it's the players. I know it's the manager. Yeah. But if you're going to say we know the ultimate source is the Glazers, well, then that's the ultimate source is the Glazers. They're the reason. You can't say it the other way around. It is then the Glazers. Like I says, if we had Abu Dhabi, if we had the Abu Dhabi setup, Man City setup here, and we were performing the way we were, I'll be saying yes. You know what? It is the manager's fault because there's no areas anywhere else that's been cutting corners like we cut corners. So I think that's what it is. But again, going back, forget that. I think we'll be here all day talking about that. But I don't think you, Afsar, don't think I got your view on the banning of the journalists.
Okay. For me, I think it's good. I think for the first time in a long time, it shows that the club is standing by a manager rather than letting the manager go under the bus. Because for the longest time, it were like Roy Keane said it. These players have thrown 4 or 5 managers under the bus, and they'll do the same to him. Now, whilst I love Roy Keane, I respect him. He's a legend of the game. I also listened to an interview with Ruud Gullit. It was done by Simon Jordan. Whatever your opinions are of him, that's fine. But Ruud Gullit said something, and he said that the ex-Manchester United players, being, I guess in this case, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, the way they talk about the club is not helpful at this current moment in time. And you think, why? Well, anytime something goes wrong, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, all they do is they default to how things were in their day. They default to how things were run under Fergie and how they had standards that they set for incoming players. And, again, fantastic footballers, legends of the game, legends of our club. But I'm sorry, lads. Times have changed. Fergie's no longer here. He's retired. Let him be retired. Let him enjoy his life. And, the game's changed. Players have changed. So many things have changed that you can't just say, oh, well, this wouldn't have happened when I was playing. The players need to do this. The players need to do that. There's 1,000 more things that are now relevant. But the second we win, it's, oh my God, put the contract on the table. Let him sign his own thing there. Ollie's at the wheel. Like, do you know what I mean? They go from one extreme to the next and they're not helping the overall situation.
Yeah, and look, it's crazy. But, boys, this isn't a usual step for the Glazers because the Glazers are all about PR. They need as much PR as they can get. I mean, we talked about the people who've been got rid of, blocked, should I say, and banned. Carve, Solical, Sky Sports, big, massive
out of the DMs.
entity. Yeah, Manchester Evening News, Samuel Lucas, obviously local newspaper. David McDonald at the Mirror. It's national, and Rob Dawson of the ESPN, who like US and things like that. They cover that a lot of that area. Who's making these decisions? Who do we think's made this decision? Is it a Glazer thing? No. Yes.
What, the banning?
The banning of these journalists. Yeah.
I think it's come from Ten Hag. Ten Hag. I don't think it's come from the Glazers.
Personally, I think it's a Ten Hag thing.
Yeah, Ten Hag thing.
So what we're saying is Erik ten Hag has told the club, right, I want you to ban these journalists.
I think what's happened
I
is he's
think so.
coming today. He's coming today. Got the board, rubbed the names off and like ban. These are the players that want in, and that's about it. Simple as. It was the moment, heat of the moment. I think that's what it was. It wasn't. Oh, let me ring Joe later. Oh yeah, I'm not going to.
Do you think it was heat of the moment, or if you remember, I think was it the prior to the Newcastle game, was it post Galatasaray, when you had that TNT reporter who says, "Oh, I can't remember, paraphrasing it. We enjoy the what was it, the drama that goes on."
That
Yeah, he said
interview with
something like
Ten
that.
Hag.
Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah,
I think it was before the Galatasaray game, wasn't it?
before the Galatasaray game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, you enjoy this happening to
yeah,
us." Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? The media feed. So I
Yeah.
think. Do you think Erik ten Hag from there thought, you know what? Okay,
Probably
because
like,
you can see it.
yeah,
You can just see, like you said. I think even on Twitter, I know Riz posted it. You've got the same headlines as all the other managers previous to Erik ten Hag.
It's literally
You
been
know,
copy and paste.
copy
just
paste of
take
the
out a name.
players. Yeah, the players have lost confidence and this, that, the other. And you know what? Just my 2 pence worth. I'm glad, and I think, to be fair, I've seen a lot more people happy that this has happened. I know, Ted. I think you're probably the only one so far I've heard and listened to that's saying, no, I'm not having a dig. I'm being honest here.
you know what it is, Hub. You know what it is though. It's not only Ten Hag. I think Van Gaal stormed out of his press conference as well, didn't he? And
No, it's stormed out. But what I'm trying to say
Mourinho,
is this is the first
yeah,
time there's been a ban post Fergie in terms of saying this and that person, isn't allowed in the press conference. Excuse me. What I'm trying to say is a lot of the fans are happy this has happened because
they are.
what we see is just loads of rubbish being written about us all the time. Like you just said, I think somebody on the Spaces today actually was saying, Man City win the treble, and the next day they're more interested to talk about Man United because we all know
Doyle or
what
something.
happens.
I think
I
it was
can't remember. It
Doyle,
might have
wasn't
been
it?
Doyle as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we see what happens. It's just about creating news and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And now that we know these people have been banned from the press conferences, okay, we know that it's going to be something along the lines of, okay, you come back, give us your sources then. Tell us who are leaking all these news to you then. Tell us who it is. And whether they do or not, we'll probably see whether they come back or not.
I'm going to slightly contradict myself here because I said that we shouldn't really be talking about how things were under Fergie, the previous players saying it. But do you remember when lineups kept getting leaked? It was years ago. And I think Gary Neville tells a story, and it was a journalist that lived in a certain part of, let's say, Alderley Edge, for example. And let's say there was 3 players that lived in that area. Fergie cornered them all, got them in a room, said, right, who's leaking the news? And they all stayed quiet. He said, right, don't own up to it, but you're all dropped until it stops. And he dropped all 3 of them. Now, that's one way of dealing with it. But I don't think at this present moment we've got the facilities to be dropping players.
The facilities for that big man.
Yeah.
True. And this is where it comes back to the control and the ill discipline. We've seen Jadon Sancho, okay, talk out and still not apologise. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we saw Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wasn't he
even
partying
remember
at the weekend?
Who's that? Sancho, yeah.
Sancho.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
why?
sure it was at someone's
Why not?
party.
Obviously Ronaldo felt he could say the things that he said, on TV and that as well. Do you know what I mean? So it just goes to show that so much is yet to be done at this club, and it's gonna take time. And like I says, even when the Qataris come tomorrow, whenever they come, it's not gonna be click your fingers, it's all sorted. It's gonna take time. So I just pray for the fans, they have that patience. But before we wrap up, FA Cup draw. I think we've been drawn against Wigan Athletic.
Yep.
Not too sure.
And I believe it's away.
It's away finally. I think, yeah, Ted, you're going to go to that game?
No, I don't think I'll be going to games. I was meant to go Chelsea tomorrow, but I won't be going. I've been a little bit bunged up with the norovirus, so yeah, I don't think I'll be going to any other games anytime soon. I think maybe West.
I thought you were taking a stand. You're not going to go and see him. No more games.
Yeah, no, but you know what? I like going to the aways because I like going to the away games because sometimes I just feel like, you know what, it's just nice.
Ted, you'd be a shit protester, you know that.
I look, whatever reason I want to go to games is my reason, whatever, innit? Right?
Yeah, Ted, you're right. You know, if you want to go to games, you should go to games. You know, I don't think, and this isn't taking the piss here. I don't think nobody should be telling you what to do and how to do it. And let's face it, guys, this is what we've had too much of fans telling us. And sorry, one thing I want to pull you up on, Tej. You was talking about the local guys up north or ladies about the football club in Manchester. Why does that make a difference?
When you were talking about
no, when you were talking about, I think
players who are playing
and the players and all this, you said Akil, you know, you're up north, you're local, as though that meant something.
The general conception is when I speak to people who go to Old Trafford, the locals, when you speak to them there, they want literally. I say, sorry, Afsar, I know you're going to get annoyed with this, but it's like exactly like Carragher said. He said it in such a good example. He goes, look, they weren't winning stuff, they weren't great, but because they're local lads, it's the responsibility of them. Rashford is 26 years of age. He is a senior player. He is on the most amount of money, if not the second most amount of money. I know money shouldn't make a difference. He should be setting an example to those younger players coming through. He should also be doing.
No, I get that. So you was talking about the players and not the fans, because you said you're talking to local people.
Forgive me, in terms of because I was referring to, you know, when Akil said about, you know, who we're playing the selection, sometimes the fans just want to be able to see players. They've paid 60, 70, God knows, sometimes 80, 90 quid for a ticket. They want to be able to see, hang on a minute, those 11 players are running for them, and sometimes there's not players that are running. And I think there's a good
that's fine. I think the only reason why I bring that up is because, like I said, we have a worldwide audience, and we've got people who you talk about £80-90 being given to go to a game. We've got people who wake up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, to watch this, or they'll stay up until 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Or they'll end up paying thousands of pounds just to come and watch us because they'll have to come and watch tickets, holiday hotels.
Do you know how? Do you? It's an interesting one for you guys, and this is where I hope it changes into Qatar. Do you know what the average hospitality price is? And bear in mind, in hospitality, I mean, you boys don't drink except for harps, but
Tej, I'm not a high roller like you, so I wouldn't know.
No, I'm not a high roller. But do you know what the average price is per hospitality ticket per person?
I reckon about
you're looking
500 quid.
Yeah, £500 to get a shitty meal and unlimited supply of Carling and some cheap red wine.
And apparently the meal's not even in the stadium.
I was going to say, if the chicken's cooked.
Yeah, I mean that's really poor, And you know what? I think I'm gonna sound like.
Do you reckon that's why the players have been a bit, you know.
But Ted, but you as a fan, okay, £500, and like you said, you've got there. This is what's served up to you. Yeah, you've gone and you looked at it. You think, oh God, this isn't great. Like, do you know what I mean? And then you watch the football on the pitch. Oh God. And like you said, it's awful, isn't it? It's just a compound, isn't it, of all the whole experience from walking in, or getting to the facilities.
Can I ask a question?
At this tired. You can do. You look at the tired facilities, tired Old Trafford, beautiful, so much nostalgia. Part of it. But I think that's all it is nostalgia. You don't go there no more. Say, wow, the facilities are fantastic, or whatever. It all adds up, and as a fan, we've gone, oh.
It does.
So this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. So you think about these players that Ronaldo talked about, the facilities behind the scenes and all that kind of thing. I think there's even quotes from one of the players, ex-players, that said, you go to Man City, you see it there, you think, wow. You come to United, you think, oh, this how far it is. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's these little things. Sorry, go on, Afsar.
No, my question was, it's for Tej, it's for any of the listeners, if anyone wants to enlighten me on this. When you do hospitality, so you pay your £500, you get your meal, you get your calling, whatever, is it the same food every time? or is it like
no, I
one
think it's
game's
different,
different, you know?
different. But it's the point I'm trying to make is it might not be 500, it's less and more and whatnot. I know they've got special deals with Team Viewer and stuff like that. But the point being is the standard. Going back to the standards are really low, really below par, and you know, it's
Do you
just
guys
not
want
good
to
enough.
know?
But go on.
Do you
Go on,
guys want to
Akil.
know what was City's meet? So City against Spurs, that was on the
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
Then we also, I've got a friend who a season ticket holder for City. They
Didn't
were
they
at
have
the
a 2
game,
for 1?
they go, eh?
City had a 2 for 1 deal going on.
No. From what I
He's taking the
I
piss.
thought you were going to tell us
saw
about
and
that.
heard, yeah. From what I saw and heard, they basically got Christmas meal, like a proper Christmas meal. Like it was mad.
And you know what?
And I
That
think
change and that
tickets-
transition of fans is happening, by the way, guys. You can see it firsthand. I mean, you see a lot of kids wearing the City tops. A lot of kids want to go see Haaland. And what it pained me a couple of months ago, one of my friends from London, he goes, Tej, can you do me a favour? See me and get me 3 tickets or Man City versus I think it was Brighton. And I'll go, what? And he goes, yeah. And I go, why? And he goes, oh, my son wants to go see Haaland. I go, he went last year to see Man United versus Villa. What are you on about? He goes, yeah, he doesn't like them no more. And the kid's only about 9, 10. And I'll go, mate, I said it raw. I said, you
Blame
need to
the
beat
parents,
it back
man.
into him.
No,
I said it. I
blame
said,
the parents, man.
and I
That's
said
the
you need to
parents' fault.
They need to be called social services. Need to be called in, man. I mean, that's bad
Yeah, I
parenting.
said-
That is.
Yeah, no, as I said you need to force him. Don't give him a choice. That's it. And and I actually said, no, I can't.
Can
get
I just
tickets 'cause I'll
reiterate
just-
these are Tedge's views and not the views of Brown Munde?
I'm joking. But the point being is like the transition is happening. People, young kids are watching football and they're seeing Haaland, Grealish, all these players, and you know what? The standards, United, City, miles apart. And I just feel like each year, each time, some things are going forward, other things are going way, way back. Last year,
100.
a lot of promise under Ten Hag, a lot of stuff that was going well, and we were all convinced with certain things. But
It's
yeah,
all regressing,
going back.
but it's deja vu. Sorry, Ted. I'm gonna wrap this up soon, but just before I do, I don't think you was aware of it. I think you might have been ill. Aki, we had a space with Abu Saad on the weekend on Saturday, and thank you for everybody listening, and especially Abu Saad as well. Thank you for coming on. Can we just give a recap of that? Because I think even you probably, Ted, you would like to know about it, but I think
Yeah.
some of our listeners who didn't get the chance to listen. Can you try and summarize what was said on that space?
Yeah, so from what I've heard in Abu Saad's side as well, Abu Saad again, he's from Saudi. He's got a few
Who came
sources
onto this
in Saudi
podcast?
and he's got a few people in Qatar as well. What he's been told, and I think people have started noticing it as well, is that for the past 10 days there's been meetings in London with Class A shares and 92 Foundation, also with Glazers and stuff. And there's been sort of more or less a breakthrough. It is probably the end game in the next. For me, I think it's going to be before December. That's my prediction.
We're in December, bro.
But yeah, it's the end of the month basically. Sorry.
Alright.
But yeah, it's basically on the last legs now. Between 9-2 and the Glazers, the Rain Group as well. And from what I got told a few days ago was that there's been much more of a verbal agreement. They've got to go to the Premier League now and get that done, and that's about it.
Brilliant.
So that
Because
was,
I
I think 2 days ago I got that information. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think again, thank you for Abu Saad. He done a great space. I think not only did he even mentioned, okay, forget using sources. Let's just look at it logically. And even when you broke it down logically, you could just see that this 25% that's been happening for the last 8 weeks. This is the 8th week, I think. Coming on a Monday to work. It seems like Sir Jim Ratcliffe is doing a Jadon Sancho, just turning up late for work. So if this is anything to go by, do you know what I mean? But again, everybody, thank you for listening. Again,
Just before you go, just to let you know. So I'm going to send some more material. But Safriam Amrabat, who is a 6'1" player, his baseline and his weight of the World Cup that he performed amazingly in against Kylian Mbappe, that famous clip where you see him tracking back, his weight at the time, 70 kg. Now, I'm not going to refer to you, Afzal or Akil. I'm going to refer to Harpal, a man who's quite into his fitness, understands weight training, understands conditioning training.
What, you saying the other two don't?
I'm saying I don't know them well enough. I don't know their personal information well enough to know what they get up to. They may be stonewall killers. Akil maybe definitely looks like a killer to me. But going back to you, Harpal, 70 kg. I'm just going to leave that there. You, of all people, know 70 kg being 6'1". Wow. And you know, just by looking at Amrabat, he is no way near 70 kg. And there is truth behind these articles. There's truth behind these trailers. So Blade Runner, sponsorship, F1, Nike. I'm going to get them all up, send them in the group. I don't need to lie about it. Like I said on previous podcasts, I have a major insight and passion in the fitness industry, understanding how it works, the personal chef. I'll follow Luke Shaw's chef. I've even messaged him. I'm asking him for a diet plan because I just sometimes want to see what he's about.
Hang on.
You need that diet plan. Yeah, go on.
One guy's got Dalot's Barber on speed dial. You've got Luke Shaw's chef.
I've got everything. Honestly.
Yo, these West Midland boys, man. You know what I mean?
Don't forget Tyler as well, boys.
And Tyler. And the security guy.
Let's give a mention to
as well.
Let's give a mention to Reese the Tyler. Hopefully, one of our listeners can shed a bit of light. We're looking for the head of security, a guy called Henry. Apparently, he's meant to be in the know. Let's hopefully see if we get a bit of a reach out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So so everybody, if you do want to get some fitness advice and things like that, do not ask Tej. But yeah, if you want to follow the people that he follows, by all means, please do. But yeah, like I said, just finally ending. Like I says, we the Brown Monday, we've got our website, we've got our merchandise on there as well, and we've been talking about match day experiences. We understand totally that not everybody can afford to come to Manchester United. Like Ted was saying, £500 for corporate tickets and things of that nature, and for that £500, you don't even get anything for it. But again, our mission is to try and get as many underrepresented fans across the globe who can't afford to go to the games, at least that one match day experience, to the Old Trafford as it stands today, because let's face it, things may be changing very soon, but either way, our mission is try and get our fans out there and experiencing match day. So please check out the website, and like I says, give your feedback, that's fine as well. But yeah, any purchases that you do make, a percentage of that will be contributed to a match day experience for a fan. And on that note, thank you for everyone for listening in, and Glazers out, for sale only. The guy that turns up on your party, dropping the hit, got me Haraami, coming to see like